start that. Welcome everybody. I'm going to hand it off to Lisa Garrett, who's one of our CCAPS mentor program hosts, coordinators, and we'll all do a little introduction of ourselves, and we'll get on through the program here. So thank you for joining us.
Hi everyone, welcome to the orientation. My name is Lisa Garrett, and we're going to do quick little introductions. We're going to be doing some PowerPoint presentation today. We've got an interview with a prior student or a prior mentee who was involved in the program, and we're also going to take you to the Maroon and Gold website to give you a little bit of hands-on coaching on how to work with that. So introductions first. My name again, Lisa Garrett, and I work in CCAPS as an academic advisor and also as an instructor in the multidisciplinary studies program. I advise and teach in that program, and I'm also teaching in the intercollege program this semester. So welcome. Courtney, would you like to go next?
Sure. So my name is Courtney Barrett. I am the Director of Engagement and External Relations for CCAPS. Which means I help coordinate alumni engagement for things such as the mentor program. I also do a little work with the student groups in our college. And then I also am the primary fundraiser for student scholarship support for CCAPS. So that is the work I do. Alyssa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alyssa Bigelow, and I am the academic advisor for the Health Services Management Program. So I see several HSM students here. I work also with the internship program, the mentoring program, and then some other responsibilities working with students and alumni groups as well. So glad to see all of you this morning.
All right, thanks. So I think we all have a pretty general idea of what mentoring is. If you look at the slide there, it's training, provides direction and coaching. I think bottom line, mentoring is really pairing up an individual who's got some expert knowledge or skill in the field. And that's what's going to happen with you. You're going to be paired up with someone so that you can gain that knowledge and skill in order to develop your professional expertise down the road. They may be able to offer you some training, may be able to offer you some coaching. What's nice about a mentor program is it provides support for the student, and it helps you with your goal setting too. Try to figure out some goals with your mentor who's been there and has some real experience around that. So what we want to do before we get any further into the presentation is we want to give you a chance to get to know each other a little bit. So Courtney is putting you into breakouts for introductions. So you'll have a few minutes to introduce yourself to some of the other students in the orientation, share your name, who you are, obviously, tell what your degree program is, when you're thinking your anticipated grad year is going to be, and think about a goal that you have as a participant in the CCAPS mentor program. What's something that you're hoping to accomplish by being a participant in this program? So Courtney, is it ready to go? Can we break them out?
Yeah, just based on the number of folks we have today, there's just going to be 2 people, it looks like, in each breakout room. If somebody joins late here, well, we might add them to one group. So take some time to get to know a fellow student at CCAPS. So this will be about 5 minutes or so. We'll give you guys a warning. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I think it's Fayesayo. If you want to join the group that we assigned you to for a breakout. Jessica's sitting in a room by herself right now, so if you're able to join her, please click the join group. Thanks. Okay, I just got the 4 of us here. Alyssa, if somebody else joins, just let me know and I can pop them into a room. So it's 9:07. Give folks 4 minutes or so, just 2 of them. So what classes do you have, Rachel? What are you waiting to go into today?
I'm an anthropology minor, so I have an archaeology lecture and lab this morning.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
I loved archaeology. I was an anthropologist. I think I told you I was a cultural anthropology was kind of my major. So
Rachel, what type of labs do you do in a class like that?
Well, my TA is over there setting it up, so I guess I could go ask him, but we're supposed to be outside today, and I'm a little nervous.
well,
What are we gonna get? I'm ready.
there you
So,
go.
They gave us compasses last time, so I think we're gonna be like practicing using those and like talking about like how they section off different like areas when they do like an excavation.
Cool.
Yeah, that's my only lab this semester, but next semester I'll be doing the anatomy cadaver lab and one of the MLSP labs. So we definitely be busy next semester.
What's the ML? What is that?
It's the medical science laboratory program. That's my focus area for health and wellbeing sciences. I can't remember the exact course, but I'll be taking a lot of like a mini version of their program.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you're a junior, right? Did I
Yes.
remember that? Okay. That's exciting. I seriously, I loved my anthropology classes. Like I have even just looked at like what's offered at Inver Hills because I live in Inver Grove Heights. So I'm like, is there just an anthropology class I can go take? And they'd probably be like, shut up, we don't want you in our class.
No, it's fun. I'm
It
excited.
is. It is.
No, I'm kind of waiting for what is it, when you're 62, you can audit.
Yeah.
And because a lot of those classes, I don't want to do the homework. I've done enough. But I'd love to sit in on some of these things and just learn.
Yep.
That's so cool that Minnesota does that.
It is.
I've been curious about taking algebra again and wondering if I would get it this time around.
All right, just sent a message out to say 2 more minutes. Excuse me. Alyssa, how many people are we missing? Like 3 people who said they were gonna do today?
6.
Ooh. All right. After I'm done here, I'll excuse me, I'll email everybody that missed today and tell them to sign up for one of the other 2. And then once all of the other folks that signed up over the weekend get in, I can do a mass email to all those mentees too. Anybody who hasn't signed up for one, I'll go and check. All right, I'm gonna close all rooms and I think that'll give them another minute. So folks might start kicking back in here if they're done chatting. Oh, allergies, you guys, killing me
Oh, I
today.
know.
Especially hauling all the wood and stuff. All my broken branches and trees in our yard.
We still have one hanging way up in the tree, way up high. And I'm like, how do we get it? David will probably get beamed when he's mowing the lawn.
All right, just waiting, I think, for the last 2 folks to swing back in here. Must be having really good, deep discussions. Love it. All right, when these 2 folks come back here in just a minute, we'll get started again. All right, I think we have everybody. Lisa, back to you.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you got some good conversations around your goals and ideas for goals for the program. So what's the program all about? As I said earlier, it's designed to bring you together with professionals who share your common interests, professional interests. It'll allow you a chance to explore your career opportunities. And what's really important is learning how to navigate those early years of your professional life, you know, especially that gap from when you move from college into the so-called real world, and figuring out how to navigate that gap. You don't really have to think big picture, the next 30 years of my career. This is really helpful for those 3 to 5 years after college. The time frame is October to April, and mentors and mentees are formally matched through an online platform that we use to do the matching. And one thing I wanted to point out too, before I get any further into the presentation, if you have any questions at all, feel free to post them in the chat. And we'll answer them as we go along with the presentation. You are totally welcome to ask any questions that you have. One thing I want to point out, a student may not be selected to be a mentee if we can't find you a suitable mentor. But we do our best to recruit mentors in case of that, so that we find someone for you. And one other thing I want to point out as we're going through this presentation, I will refer to it, and I just want to make sure that you are doing it too, is our mentoring handbook, our CCAPS mentor handbook. I will refer to that throughout the presentation. And that's something I want you guys to remember and go to when you've got some time to look at it. So next slide, benefits of mentoring. I mean, it's pretty obvious. There's definitely some benefits to getting involved in a mentor program. Mentees, such as yourself, gain quite a few benefits, but so do mentors. Mentors get some satisfaction from giving back. A lot of our mentors come back and say, oh, this is so great that I get a chance to, to keep working with people and helping them develop. Mentors gain professional insights too. When they're spending time working with a mentee, they're spending time helping that mentee figure out the profession. So that nudges them a little bit to go and maybe gather some information around their profession from colleagues or other sources. And it also benefits mentors because they enhance their coaching skills, which is always going to be a good skill to have when you are working up through an organization. And it also helps enhance leadership skills. Mentees gain a lot of benefits. Big ones, professional network. It's always tough making that leap into the professional world and making connections. And this is one of the benefits of the mentor program, is it helps you start building that professional network. You're gonna, through that, you're gonna be able to learn about formal and organized structures out there in the work world. And that's gonna help you build some confidence in your own skills and in what you know and what you can do. Career development skills is a really big benefit of mentoring. You're going to be able to, academic skills, development goals, being able to achieve some development goals in a supportive environment. That's one of the nice things about having a mentor, is they're there to guide you and be supportive around what you want to do. So definitely a lot of benefits to this program. I'm sure that's why you were thinking, I really want to do this, because you were thinking about how can I benefit from this and how is it going to help me? So what are the expectations? As a mentee, you want to make sure that you are the first person to initiate that regular contact. It's up to you. You own it. It's your responsibility to make that first step, to contact your mentor via phone, email, or formal meetings. One of the other expectations is we want you to review and fill out the mentorship goals and agreement form at your first meeting with your mentor. And again, that's going to be your responsibility. You're going to own that experience. You're going to be the one to make sure the form gets filled out and signed. Be proactive. if you're going to be in this program, you want to get as much out of it as you can. And that means being proactive and being willing to meet with your mentor at least once a month. And that meeting can be Zoom contact, it can be a phone call. It doesn't have to be a formal meeting in person, but you do want to have some contact with your mentor at least once a month. Another expectation is for you is discussing your goals. And Courtney's going to show you where to do that on the resources tab a little bit later. That's going to be really important so that your mentor understands where you're coming from and where you want to go. So that helps them figure out how best to work with you. And another expectation is make sure you understand that this is not a job placement program. Your mentor is not going to give you a job. You're not going to get a job with the company. That's not what it's about. This is more of an experience of helping you network and gain some skills so that you can go out after college and find those jobs. But yeah, so those 5 expectations, and those are really important to understand and make sure that you'll be able to give those your attention. What we're going to have a little interview experience now with someone who was in the mentor program. So Courtney's going to take over and talk with Rachel DeSmet, one of our students in health and well-being sciences.
This is Alyssa. I'm actually taking over right now. So
Sorry, Alyssa.
no worries. Rachel, if you could just tell everyone, introduce yourself, your name, your program, maybe what you're looking at going into in the future.
Yeah, all right. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel DeSmet. My pronouns are she, hers, and I'm a 3rd-year student studying health and well-being sciences, like it says. I hope to use that to go into the world of like forensic science, maybe forensic archaeology, maybe more the medical examiner route to do something in that field.
Great. So last year we set you up with a mentor. How did you go about setting up your first meeting with that mentor?
Yeah, so I used the Maroon and Gold network to reach out to her. I sent her my contact information since I was comfortable sharing that. So I sent that out, and then at first we communicated through email, and we set up a Zoom meeting to take place, a couple weeks after the email correspondences. And then at that Zoom meeting, I believe we exchanged phone numbers, and then a lot more of our like, hey, can we meet type of messages were then sent through text. So a little bit of everything.
Great. How did you prepare for that first meeting?
I used like some of the information she had given me. She had told me about like her job, her past job and her current job. And so I kind of did a little research into the different industries that she had worked in, just so, if she started talking about something, I kind of knew what she was talking about. I made sure to dress professionally, have a, good background, good setup to make it, seem professional, even though it was a virtual environment. And I really made clear to myself, I made clear what I was hoping to get out of it and what questions I wanted to ask and where I wanted the mentorship experience, the direction I wanted it to go. Made that really clear to myself so that I knew what I wanted when I was talking to her.
Awesome. So did you have specific goals you were working on with your mentor over the course of the relationship?
Yeah, the field I'm trying to go into is kind of complicated. There's a lot of every different website, every different state you look at has different names for everything. So one goal I had was really helping figure out, kind of what everything meant and what I actually wanted to do. And then another big goal I had was just networking. So getting to know her, connecting with some of her contacts, and really just expanding my network and trying to make those important connections. And then kind of my third goal was just to have someone to turn to who understands that industry, and almost like a friend, which I definitely did get out of this experience, but I know that everyone won't get that, but I was really grateful to make almost a friend through this process too.
Very good. So this one you may have touched on just a little bit, but even though your mentor may not have had the exact career you were interested in, how did you learn from them?
Yeah, so she had previously worked in a laboratory, which is kind of what I want to do. And now she works more in the legal field, which is not what I want to do at all. But her experiences talking about grad school, talking about undergrad. We had obviously taken a lot of similar courses, so she had a lot of really good insight on that. And even though like we weren't like a perfect match, I definitely still learned a lot just about the field as a whole. We didn't ever talk like specifics about her job. We just talked about the field as a whole, and education kind of as a whole, obviously connecting where we could. So it was definitely still super valuable to get like kind of more of the big picture details about what I want to do.
Great. That's actually really good advice for a lot of students on this call. So one last question. What would you recommend to other students in the program or anything they should know moving forward?
Yeah, I would just say be very open. That's the best advice I can give. I think I said it in the video too. Just be open, be willing to listen. You don't have to take every piece of advice that they give, but be willing to listen and to share in return. The more you put in, the more you share, the more you'll be able to get out of it. And I definitely think that's like the biggest piece of advice I would have. The second thing would be communicate. Like you have to make the effort to reach out to them, to set up the meetings, even like remind them sometimes these are professionals, they're very busy. So making sure you're really staying on top of it and making it easier for them, because in reality, they're doing you a favor. So making sure you're respecting them and their time.
Very good. I think we have, so Rachel's going to class shortly. Does anyone have any questions that's on the call? You just have to unmute yourself. Usually students are pretty quiet on these. So we are going to, thank you so much, Rachel, for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Sounds like you had a good experience and hopefully other students can learn from you moving forward. But have a great day. Enjoy class outside. That's where you're staying today.
Yeah. Good luck, everyone. Enjoy the program.
All right, now I think we're going to go to Courtney. Who's going to take it from here. Nope, Lisa is going to take it back. Sorry about that.
No problem. All right, thank you, Rachel and Alyssa, for that. So getting into the nitty gritty about the program, what are some do's about participating in this program? One big do, setting those goals again. And again, you're going to find the agreement and goals on the resource tab, which you're going to learn about in a second, but getting specific about your goals and sharing those with your mentor. You don't want to just come in and go, well, I don't know, I was just thinking this would be a cool thing to do. Be explicit about your own needs, your limits, and your time constraints. Don't assume that your mentor is going to understand, well, I haven't heard from my mentee for a while. I guess they're really busy and have a lot going on. No, you have to tell them if something's happening, if you've got some time constraints that you can't meet at certain times, if there's some limits, you have to be explicit with that. Don't be intimidated with communicating with your mentor. Your mentor wants to be involved and they want to work with you. So make sure that you're explicit and reaching out. Spend some time participating in some self-reflection and self-development. This is what mentoring is all about. And, spend a little time figuring out what you want, how you want to develop, and so forth. And along with that, be receptive to constructive advice. As Rachel said, you don't always have to take the advice, but you want to show that you're open to it and being receptive of it. You can be like my 15-year-old son when I give him advice and he says, I'll take that under advisement. I'm same thing, trying to teach him. You may not want to take mom's advice, but be respectful about it and be receptive to it. Show appreciation for your mentor's time. Yes, they are busy, they are professionals, but they do want to be involved with working with you and mentoring you, but show appreciation for their time, not just by saying, hey, I really appreciate the time you're putting into it, but show that in action too. Be prepared in advance for your meetings. Make sure you're on time for those meetings. Those are ways that you can show appreciation for their time. And that just goes along with honoring commitments. If you can't make a meeting or if you can't make a Zoom call, make sure you let them know. It's really important to honor the commitments that you make in this program. If you have any situation or any issues, or if you just have some good feedback for us, feel free to contact Courtney, Alyssa, and myself, the program staff. If the relationship's not going well, if you're not getting a response from your mentor, if something's not working, if you have any type of feedback to share with us, that's important. So along with do's, some don'ts, some things to be aware of and to try and avoid. Don't neglect agreed commitments without an explanation, as I just said earlier. If you're not able to make a meeting, let them know and make suggestions for a new time. If you need feedback by a specific date, provide that date in your email communication so that they know, oh, I got to get back to this person by such and such a time. Don't ask your mentor for a job. Don't ask them for an internship. Don't ask for a job reference. That's not what the mentor program is for. This program is for you to work with someone during this year to help develop your professional skills. It's not for you to get a job. Don't assume your mentor has unlimited time for you. As excited as mentors are about working in this program, they do have usually a lot going on, not just work, but family commitments, and some mentors are going back to school. So don't assume that they have unlimited time for you. And don't be defensive when receiving constructive feedback. We talked about getting advice and being receptive to it. I think that's a good way to put it, is be receptive to it and be professional in being receptive. You don't need to get defensive about it. Don't end the mentoring relationship prematurely. And if there is something going on, then again, as I stated on the last slide, you want to get in touch with the program staff and let them know what's going on so we can help you with those situations. And another important point is don't share your mentor contact information without their permission. You know, friends might say, hey, that's really cool. I didn't know your mentor worked for this company. Can you give me her information? I'd like to contact her about possible jobs there. Don't do it unless you've gotten their permission beforehand. It's just a professional courtesy. And communication expectations. I spoke earlier about you pretty much own the communication around this experience. And I had mentioned having some type of communication strategy that best fits your relationship. Once a month is what the expectation is. It can be email, it can be Zoom, it can be in person. You feel comfortable with that. One thing about meeting in person, make sure you are meeting in a place that you feel comfortable with and safe. Coffee shop, someplace public. Another communication is reply as quickly as possible. And that's important, but you may not always get the quickest response. You know, like I said, they've got a lot going on. Sometimes you might not get an immediate response every time. I tell my advisees all the time, if you don't get a response from an email you sent me in a day or two, I usually, you know, my rule is 24 hours. I may have missed the email. I have a habit of opening an email, reading it, and then getting distracted. So you can always feel free to contact them again after a day or two. Practice professional communication in every contact, phone, Zoom, emails, use good grammar, use good spelling, capitalization, and all that good stuff. And again, ensure you're in an appropriate conversation, in an appropriate environment for conversations. If you have to, you don't want to be talking to them in a place with a loud background, a place where you're going to have a lot of distractions. Make sure you're able to get away from that, be in a quiet place where you can have a quiet conversation, or you know, with roommates around and that, get in your room or find a quiet spot somewhere where you can have a good conversation. Don't use textile language. That just kind of goes along with that professional communication expectation. And don't reply in one-line emails. There's plenty of information out there on the internet to help you with professional electronic communication. So you can find really good helpful hints around that, but using textile language, one-line emails, not a good idea. Always show up for a scheduled meeting or a phone call. If you, that just goes back to that commitment rule. If you're going to make a commitment, follow through on it. And again, it all goes back to that idea of you own it. You own this experience, so you own the communication around it too. All right, so now Courtney's gonna take over from here and spend some time kind of getting into the nitty gritty about meeting with your mentor and also using that maroon and gold network. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Courtney.
thank you. So, you know, I know you all can read slides, and I know there was a question in the chat about getting access to the PowerPoint after. We will post this PowerPoint to the resources tab in the Maroon and Gold Network. I'll show you where that will be. And we're also recording this. So once we are able to, well, you know, kind of slice and dice it and put it up on YouTube, it should be up probably by the end of this week. So it'll also be linked in the resources tab for you. So watch for that. So, you know, just as Rachel was kind of talking about, you know, she spent some time thinking about, you know, who her mentor is and, you know, what kind of things they might have to talk about and that they might talk about. And so she really did some of that self-reflection and preparation to get that the most out of your time with the mentor. So, you know, use those SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. You know, think about what are your goals? What do you want to learn from that mentor? What are some of your career plans? What do you hope to do? I will tell you this, the first jobs that I had out of college, I never thought I'd end up in higher education. I worked in the nonprofit world for 6-7 years before I ended up in higher ed. You never know where you're going to end up. And I will tell you that I still maintain a relationship with some of my mentors that I had right out of undergrad in those first jobs. And they have been extremely helpful for me as I've gone through, you know, kind of career changes and such. So, you know, think about what your career plans are, knowing you might not be in that role in 5 to 10 years. As Lisa mentioned, you know, really think about kind of the next few years of where you want to go. Think about your strengths and weaknesses, and then ultimately, how do you think a mentor can help you accomplish some of those things that you are thinking about? For your first conversation, again, think about those SMART goals. And as you meet with your mentor, they can help you refine what some of those goals may be. And, you know, this first meeting really sets the tone for your entire mentoring relationship. You know, all those things that Lisa said: be on time. You know, I like to send reminder emails to folks that I have meetings with the day before and verify that the date and time still works for them, or if they need to make a change, just let me know. Those kinds of things are always good to do before those first meetings happen. That CCAPS mentorship agreement and goals document, it is a Google form. We do that so that it is all electronic and we can easily track all of your stuff coming in. You'll fill it out together with your mentor, and we expect you as the mentee to fill it out and send it in to us. And then you'll get a copy of those goals, and we ask that you forward that those goals and that Google form that you'll fill out. We ask that you forward that to your mentor so you have that to reflect on and refer to as you go forward. You know, ensure that you're clarifying expectations, you know, how, you know, what's the extent your mentor can offer guidance, you know, concerning personal as well as professional issues. Try to keep it professional, but we all know the personal comes into our lives more often than not, especially over the past year and a half. I think, you know, we're all under a lot of stress, and knowing, you know, your mentor is too. You are as a student. Many of you are, you know, working. They understand that. Just, you know, be open and communicative with them. That's always the best way. And then again, work together to define those common learning objectives and your common goals. And again, you as the mentee, you're responsible to submit that mentorship agreement and goals document following your first meeting. And we will definitely send you all reminders about that. I'm going to try to show you my screen live. So if somebody can give me a thumbs up that you can see this Maroon and Gold Network CCAPS page, thank you very much. So when you log into the Maroon and Gold Network, you are going to end up on this about page, which is where we had you all sign up here. And across the top, you can see your screen should look very similar. I have an administrative screen, but yours should look very similar with these tabs across the top that say about, mentors, discussion, resources. You will not have that lovely admin tab. That is mine. We're going to ask you, after this week, we are going to send you all an email that says, hey, take some time to look through the mentors, and we're going to ask that you favorite somewhere around 3 to 5 mentors that you think would be a really great match for you. This is extremely important because we use the feedback from you all saying that you want to be matched with this mentor as one of the primary ways we match you. If you don't fill out anybody at all, we can't guarantee, we will make the best match possible, but us knowing that this is what you would like goes a really long way. So I'm going to show you how to search and favorite some mentors. You'll click on this mentor tab up here, and across the top, you can see there's some different search. There's this little star. This is how you're going to know who you favorited. If you want to know where they're located, their majors. This tab here for majors is what the University of Minnesota has. It might not match exactly your CCAPS major. I'm going to recommend you go to this tab called More Filters. These are the questions that we have specifically asked our mentors about. These first few, again, are what the Alumni Association asks upon registration. But as you come down to these more detailed questions, you can say, oh, I really want to be matched with a mentor who's done the CCAPS mentor program before. And you can go here and it says, have you been matched in the CCAPS mentor program in previous years? Again, a question the mentors ask. I'm going to click yes, and then apply. And these are folks who have been mentors or been a part of the mentor program in the past. So that's, one way you can search, search for mentors. I'm going to clear that. I'm going to go back to more filters, and I want to know what was the name of the CCAPS program that these folks participated in. Some people may not be a CCAPS mentor, but they may still have experience that's really relevant to you. So do keep that in mind, that the only folks that you might think of might be in your specific major, but don't discount folks that aren't in your major. I'm going to go here. Let's say I'm a health services management student. I want to see what alumni are health services management alumni. I'm going to click there. I'm going to click apply. And now I have a page of all of the mentors who are HSM alumni. I'm going to click here on Tiffany. You can click right on here to view her entire profile. And you can see here her bachelor's degree, she graduated in 2019. Underneath her profile, she says she's a pre-med student. Maybe I'm really interested in going to medical school. I want to know more about the work she's doing. I think she might be a really great match. I can scroll down and see a little bit more information about her, what she was involved with on campus, the answers to her questions here. Why does she want to be a CCAPS mentor? She mentored last year. She felt it was really great to help eliminate her mentees' doubts and challenges, to help choose the degree. Great, so she talks a little bit about here. I think she would be a great person for me to connect with. So up here on the top, you're going to see this little green button that says favorite. I'm going to click on it and say favorite. Now, when I go back, I can see that her profile no longer has the option for me to favorite here. But if I go up to this little star that says people you've marked favorite, oh, now it says no users found. This might be because I'm not a mentee, so I apologize, y'all. Let me clear it real quick. Okay, well, ideally, because I'm not a mentee, Tiffany's picture would show up here. So you would be able to see like the 3 or 5 people that you've marked as a favorite. And again, it's really important to go through. You can click on any of these profiles as well to learn more about them. Some folks have master's degrees. You can search on their experience underneath filters. If you go down here, you can say, I'm interested in the following career options. Let's say addictions, health and well-being, healthcare administration, and let's say medical practitioners. Then I'm going to apply, and everybody who has that listed as something they have experience in is going to come up here. And so now I have this great group of folks that maybe didn't have a health services management degree, but they have experience in some of the stuff I'm interested in. And you can go through and click on these folks. Again, you can mark them as a favorite when you're doing that. So does anybody have questions on that piece specifically? Please, pop it in the chat, let me know. We can answer more questions at the end as well. So I hope that was helpful. And present again. Again, this is just a screenshot of that, that page that I showed you. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's an option for you to edit your profile and settings. So if the one important thing to tell you is whatever email you signed up with on the Maroon and Gold Network platform is the email we are going to send to. If you used a Gmail account, that's what we're sending to. If you do not want us to send to your Gmail, you need to go into your settings in your profile and change your email. It is how we send out email communications through the system, and we use that primary email as the easiest option. So if you have questions on how to do that, I can send you a step-by-step as well. And again, in the lower right-hand corner, there's this little search, little question mark if you have a question about something. And again, across the top, there's that tab for resources. Actually, I'm going to show you all that here. And this is where we have a lot of FAQ, different mentoring guides. The CCAPS mentor program handbook is right there as well. And once we get this video up and this PowerPoint, we'll pop that in there for you all as well. So you see that agreement and goals form. And again, we will email you a lot of this stuff and remind you and direct you to where this information lives. All right, I got a few more slides and then we got time for questions. So get those ready, either ready to unmute yourself or you can pop them into the chat and we will address them. So here we are, how to use that online program that I just talked about. You'll want to log in. You can review that timeline, the resources tab. There's also an opportunity. We have set up predetermined goals and kind of items that you'll get emails about that say, here's an idea for what you should talk to your mentor about this month. We also will send a monthly e-news to you that talks about upcoming, events and activities that you may want to attend with your mentor, either virtually or in person. It is completely up to you and your comfort about whether you want to meet in person or not. We did ask you if you were interested in an in-person hybrid or totally virtual mentor relationship. That is a question you can also filter on for the Maroon and Gold Network folks. So just make sure that, whatever you're most comfortable with. And some of our mentors, they also may not be in the Twin Cities, so it might have to be fully virtual. So just be aware of that when you are looking for some of your favorites, and be open to, at the very least, our expectation is that you meet virtually, either by phone or Zoom or something of that nature, at least once a month. Again, we'll send out information about favoriting your top 5 mentors. I just walked through that process with you. And then we will send a mentor match to you by October 15th. You can either use this online program to email and communicate with each other. I will say most folks choose to give each other, their emails and their phone numbers so that they can more easily communicate with one another. The program itself is set up for you to communicate just through the program if that is a preference. Most people, I would say, don't find it as user-friendly as we wish it would be. But if you want to give it a try, please do. We'd be happy to do that. So again, next steps, we will send this reminder again next week. Go in, log in, favorite those 5 mentors. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you to go do that. And I would wait to do it until next week because we are still recruiting some mentors to get them into that online program. So there may be some more folks in there over the next week or two. So I would wait until next week to do that. October 15th, we'll send you your mentor match. And then we expect you to meet, quite quickly, ideally the same day or within, as Lisa mentioned, 24 hours, reply back to your mentor and, exchange information, start coordinating your first meeting. We at CCAPS will provide an open space on November 5th from 8 to 10 a.m. That's an option if you'd like to meet in person and you don't want to have to think very hard about where you want to do that. If it's convenient, the space will be on St. Paul campus. We'll send more information out about that as well. Again, it's an option, not required, just doing it as a friendly space that we'll have for you. And then November 19th, you should have met with your mentor already, and then you should fill out your mentorship agreement and goals document by that date as well. We will follow up with folks that week that we haven't received as a reminder. Sometimes people are like, my first meeting got rescheduled. We're not meeting until the 21st or something. That's okay. We just are following up with you. Just let us know where you're at. And please always respond to an email if we're sending it to you and asking you a question or we want to know how it's going. Please let us know and respond to us. Otherwise, we don't know what we don't know. Can't emphasize enough to just communicate with us as much as you can. I'd rather have folks over communicate than not communicate at all. And I honestly don't think that you can over communicate enough in something like a mentor program. All right, we are at Q&A. Lisa and Alyssa and I are standing by and ready and willing to answer any questions you may have. So feel free to unmute yourself or pop them in the chat.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
How do you guys pick out like the mentors, or how do they want to? How do you reach out to them?
Yeah, how do we recruit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have been doing outreach. They're primarily alumni of our CCAPS degree programs, both undergraduate and graduate programs. And we send emails out and we just ask folks to self-select that they're interested in mentoring students. I know we always have a ton of HSM and health and well-being sciences, kind of the health related folks. So I personally make it a mission of mine to message a lot of our alumni of those programs and encourage them to consider signing up to be a mentor, knowing that we can't guarantee a mentor for everybody, we don't guarantee a mentor for every mentee, but we do our best to match every student. And so far, this is the third year of the program. The first 2 years, we've been able to match every student that wanted a mentor. Again, like Rachel said, it may not be the perfect match, but there's always something you can learn from a mentor, even if they're not in your exact degree program. You need help with networking and things like that. Just getting through school, work-life balance. Those folks have that experience as well. So yeah, so if you don't get your first choice or your second choice, don't be too concerned that you're not going to have a good match. We definitely do our best to match you all. Thank you.
I was wondering, where can I access the recording of this meeting just to go back and look at information again?
Yeah, thanks, Helen. We're recording this. We will post it in the resources tab on the Maroon and Gold Network page. We'll also post the PowerPoint as well if you don't want to watch the whole video.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And we'll send, when we send a communication out, we'll remind you all and point to the resources tab. Anybody else? All right. Well, we will give you 9 minutes of your day back. Happy Monday morning. Thank you so much for joining us early. We really appreciate it and hope everyone has a fabulous rest of your day and your week, and plan to hear from us early next week with a reminder and links to the PowerPoint and such. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.